Alright, what's up? Patch 920 dropped yesterday. I didn't even realize it. Whatever. We're gonna get to it today. A couple things I want to look for right now. It's really exciting. We're getting Garen, Shaco, and Victor buffs. So actually, the Shaco buffs aren't even excited. Let's skip over those. I'm really excited for the Victor buffs. I've felt like the champion isn't great for a while. I want to look through this. Hopefully they'll get some stuff in there that really helps the guy take off again. We'll see. Anyways, let's get right into it. Okay, good skins. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so Blitzcrank, base armor and armor growth decreased. Okay, so Blitzcrank got 100 extra range on his Q, the last patch, and that made him very good at just picking off people. I think a lot of it stems from the fact that, we're so used to Blitzcrank pull range that this new one throws people off. They're caught off guard. He could actually be pretty overtuned right now. I don't personally know, but the idea here is that when your hook kill lane champions such as Nautilus, Thresh, Blitzcrank, and Pike are really effective in their encounters, there's two ways to fix them. The first is you nerf the encounter. Okay, so like the pull itself. And this doesn't really work because once they pull you, you're gonna die anyways, or you're gonna burn a summoner spell. That's just a fact. You're dead. And so the other route that you can take when you're nerfing these champions is to make it so that when these conditions aren't met, they're punished a lot more heavily, which is the route Riot's trying to take right here. So they're nerfing his armor and his armor growth. That's going to take him down 9, 4, 13 armor late game. It makes him decently squishier in the early game. That's fair to say. So when he goes for these opportunities, and if he misses them, for example, he'll be punished a lot harder for that. He'll get poked down more easily. He'll take like in a 2-3 auto trade, he'll take like 30 more damage, which pretty decent. So that's how they're gonna try to punish him there. I don't know if he needed the nerfs. Honestly, I haven't seen enough of Blitzcrank to really make a good call on whether or not he's like a good champion now. But for all the lower elo players, this might be something that'll really help in your games. So Garen. Garen got his. Did he get his mini rework? Spin now scales with attack. Yes, he did. Okay. So he has significantly more attack speed growth, a little more health. It cleaned up numbers on the health and health growth. Okay. So he gets a buff on his passive as well. Wow, that's really nice. Okay, so when it says 2 to 8%, what happens is at a certain level threshold, I think it was like either level 9 or level 11, he would go from 2% based on his level to 8%. So what this does instead is this gives him a really smooth curve. So it's going to be weaker level 1, it's probably going to be equal level 2, and then past that point all the way up to level 9, he's just going to be stronger at regenning. No longer passively doubly regenerates health while below a certain threshold. Interesting. 7 seconds when hit by epic monsters, towers, or champions. Okay, so they're normalizing that as well to make sure he still has a point where he doesn't like regen a ton. Q now scales with Garen's attack speed, behaving more similarly. Okay, so the cast time goes down as well. One of the things that I thought was really funny about Garen was how long his Q would take. So like, it's like the Darius ulti where it's got this dramatic sort of animation, and I thought that was funny. I guess that really was holding back Garen players. I guess I don't know. This might work a lot more smoothly. Less bonus armor and magic resist. Okay. So he's going down 20 in resists. Grants. Oh, it's an actual shield now. And 60% tenacity. For the first three. Okay. One of the things I don't really like about this is you can immediately tell that they're. It's like when people have like You take like two fingers and you put them in front of your eyes and you try to see how far you can like split them and see how like long it'll take people's eyes to follow. This is kind of like what they're doing with like his scalings. So like they're taking, all right, you get this extra maximum health and it only scales on that, but you need to get this attack speed as well. And oh, by the way, you can't get any of these on the same items. There is no attack speed item that also gives health. So good luck, Garen players. Okay, judgment. 7 spins plus 1 per 20% attack speed. Yeah, see? Like, they're giving him, like, a ton of incentive to buy attack speed, but then they're gutting his resistances, so it's not like. And his health, so he has to buy both. Okay, spins before shred, 6. Oh, wow. 25% to the nearest enemy. This might be interesting. So, the spin's going to do more damage in a minion wave as long as you're sitting on top of the person. Now grants stacks of Conqueror on each spin. That's really nice. No more villain mechanic. Okay, that's. I remember hearing that was really cancerous. So I'm glad those taken off. Mostly for like Garen players who didn't really like dealing with that. And his execute got nerfed. What? Oh, but it's true damage now. Okay. Yeah, the true damage part was really, really. I think that's fair to keep. Garen doesn't really like if you're nerfing like all the damage on it, but you're switching from magic to true, that's a really fair conversion to make, I think. Grants vision of the target for 1 second for that's a really, really nice fix. I know a lot of Garen players complain about that. Like you try to ult and then they jump into a bush and then suddenly it cancels. So overall, like there's some really, really good like bug fixes and quality of life changes for Garen in here. But the scalings look so I don't know. I don't like that. So bug fixes, quality of life, good. Scaling's bad. Yeah, these are pretty bad. The regen's nice. Everything else is yeah. I'm not feeling it. Okay, Ivern, now a ranged champion. Basic. Wow. Wow. They just gave Ivern making Ivern more approachable and strong by not forcing him to get accustomed to multiple basic attack. Wow. That's huge. Like he's not gonna be able to build Frozen Gauntlet as easily now. If he even built that before, I don't think he did. I think he just went straight support items. This is really huge. Brushmaker is still gonna give him extra damage, so there's still incentives to use that. But yeah, dude, 325 or no 350 extra auto range is a really big buff. I don't know what this does to Ivern. This is something where you look at it and it looks huge on paper, but I don't know how to play out. So I'll probably have to ask one of my buddies. This guy he plays a lot of Ivern, so we'll see in a bit. Lissandra as a bursty engage mage while trying not to impact her pro laning power. Okay, so what makes Lissandra good in pro play and high elo is her ability to hard shove lanes with little consequence. So you're gonna see that a lot when like she just ignores interactions. That's really it. Um, she might overwhelm you with some of her damage, like whittling you down, but that's just not what she does. Like she's mostly there for shoving and then going to another lane. It's like Malzahar, but requires skill to play because you actually have to go in and you don't have to sit from a range and press R. Now you have to get close. So we'll see when it comes to this. Okay, so she gets a 2 AP ratio buff on her W, which is going to be upfront damage, and then anytime she gets a really good passive off, it's going to be another 0.2. Okay, so the passive isn't going to hit much, but the W should. And this means that, in fights where she's got like 500, 600 AP, that's going to be 100 to 120 extra damage. I know she needs a lot more damage, and I know that she's just. I think her Q feels really underwhelming right now. That's the big issue that I have. But I know that buffing it means that you're going to make it so she can wave clear a lot more easily, and she can just run through teams. Oh, overall, I think that putting it on the W has been Riot's go-to because they don't know how to buff her Q at all without making it oppressive. So this is a pretty standard Riot buff for Lissandra. I don't know what it'll do. I don't think it'll do much. It's pretty nice though. Like I'll give you that. Like it's a noticeable increase in damage. It's just, will I ever get to use that? Pantheon. Okay, Pantheon is a top tier pick in skills games. That surprised me. I did not like. Okay, I've been playing against Pantheon for a long time, and whenever I thought of Pantheon, I thought he's got this really basic kit, really easy to counterplay around. You gotta expect this and that. So when the new Pantheon came in, I was under that same expectation where Pantheon was like, oh, it's this really simple character. All you gotta do is X, Y, and Z, and he's not gonna be a problem. Apparently he is. This kind of surprises me. Um, Last patch I believe it was, he got a bug fix that was, or no, it was not a bug fix. It was a huge increase to his DPS. So if he were to tap his Q and go for like the melee like spear prod rather than like the full throw, it would refund half the cooldown. And this was huge in melee range fights because it drastically increases his DPS. I would say about a 25% DPS increase. When you're looking at a melee champion like this, that's disgusting. Like getting an extra quarter of your damage just because like the cooldown keeps refunding, it makes you very scary in like long played out fights. So looks like Riot's trying to lower that DPS, not by making it, not by taking that away, but by reducing the base damage on his Q. So he's just increased some of his early game damage. Yeah, you're gonna be maxing Q first. So by level 5 or 6, rank 3, you're gonna start noticing this pretty significantly. Every time you go for like a tap on the Q, that's another 10 damage off. So he's gonna be a lot weaker against like a lot of melee champions. Against ranged champions, like yeah, later on, like if you're going for an execute, it'll do 40 less damage, which at rank 5, which might seem huge, but then you remember that like if he's not landing a lot of these, then on that champion because they're ranged, then that's just not going to be like a huge damage decrease compared to what it would be against melee champions. So like against Olaf, someone like that, you tap Q 3 times on them, that's 60 damage off. 80 if the person it crits on them, or for like the third Q crits on them. So, and then in lane, of course, every time you tap Q, boom, 10 damage off. So yeah, pretty big nerf to DPS. I don't know what that'll do. I feel like Pantheon is almost exclusively damaged, so that hurts him a lot more than other champions. Pantheon's Q and Vault Spear not properly when taking. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think this will change much, and that's okay. I think Pantheon's fine. Kiana. Ooh. Oh, this is pretty big. Okay. Kiana is pretty gross right now as well. They're finally hitting her base damages in ways that it matters. 20 less damage on her Q means that she gets less wave clear early on. So they're sharpening her weakness as a AD champion that cannot wave clear. And before you yell at me or anything, keep in mind this is like when I say Fizz can't wave clear. You got to get close to the wave. You have to buy Tiamat. I think that's how it's pronounced. And you got to be using like a lot of mana. So she can't really wave clear that effectively. It sharpens that sort of, power curve for her. and it makes her a lot. I really think she's a lot like Fizz right now. Okay, so she's got that weakness of being like really, really slippery, really brutal when she gets on you. But until then, she's got like the low wave clear. She's pretty easily poked down in the early game. The one thing that makes her better though is she's got like really, really strong catch power in the river, as well as anytime you're around a wall. Oh yeah, and this also hurts your jungling. I don't think she'll be jungling after this. Yeah, 20 extra damage off that. Wow. I think she'll stay mid for this. I think she'll definitely stay mid, but should be taking that jungle because you're spamming that Q on minions, or maybe you're not. Maybe. You get some attack speed when your element's up. So every 7 seconds, I think you'd be using Q. That's still a pretty good drop in damage, but yeah. I don't think you'll see her jungle much anymore. Shaco W boxes are now AoE. What? Gameplay gains have been dubious at best. He should feel empowered to interact with enemies, especially in the early game. These changes bring me to okay, support more common and the more niche. Why would you support AP Shaco builds? Like, I don't know. I think it's dumb. I think AP Shaco shouldn't exist, and I think that you're looking at someone like Pink Ward. It's like, oh, that guy's a novelty. Yeah, it's just it doesn't provide a lot for games. I don't like having AP Shake on my team. It just feels like a really, really bad split pusher. All right, let's see. Attack damage down, attack growth down. So he's going to scale a little worse. New basic attack damage. It's basic attacking enemy that deals an additional 10 to 25 damage, plus damage from behind. Okay. So this is getting an update. This is going to look a little cleaner in terms of numbers than what it used to be. 2 shift poison now deals an additional. Oh, okay. So they're making the his E do some actual damage now. Okay, interesting. Oh, and they're changing to magic damage. Oh, we'll get there. Okay. Stealth duration. They're making his Q last for longer. Early ranks, but shorter later on. This is to make his ganks a little more valuable, like level 2, level 3, right up until it evens out around the rank 3 mark. So, it looks like they're trying to cement him as an early game champion. Cooldown down, time is ticking away. Deceive cooldown no longer reduces when exiting invisibility and dealing is. Huh, what does that mean? I think that means that he got. Oh, okay. So I think this means that once the queue ends, you'll have the cooldown start ticking down. Like, you'll have like a 3.5 second buff. Or you'll have a 3.5 second time, and then after that, then it starts ticking down. That's weird. I don't think it even requires as much looking into it as I am doing right now, so let's move on. Okay, so backstab just going to do significantly more damage. Deceive is guaranteed to critically strike for 130%. Okay. They're really forcing you to strike from behind with this one. That's interesting. It's more damage though, so at least early on. Like it really looks like they want to make him take off early game. So that's what they're doing with him. I figured that they would not like that because people were always talking about how toxic Shaco used to be. But, whatever. Alright. Jack in the Box, new AoE damage. Interesting. So, if there's multiple things in range, so it's giving him wave clear if he wants to use it. Without having to use the timeout again. So, then it's 2 seconds on all non-champions. Nice. Feared move speed. Minions are going to, and monsters are going to be slower. So what this means is that the monsters are going to sit in range for longer, so they're going to AoE. This is a pretty big buff when it comes to making sure that they stay in range for like the time at like the auto cancel. They sit in range of the box damage. It's basically an increase to how quickly he clear without like actually increasing his damage. E is going to do magic damage now. This mixed damage is going to be really good for like early game, but this also, because it's magic damage and so is the Jack in the Box, it's going to give you incentives to buy AP as AP Shaco, of course, because like I said, they're supporting that now. Massive buffs to how much damage it can do. No, no, that's just the base. 15 extra base on the early game. So yeah, they're cementing him as an early game champion. 50% increased on targets below 30% health. Okay. Yeah, they want this to be used as a finisher. Boxes trigger immediately. Wow. Okay, so if you hit the Shaco R, you are immediately in danger. If you kill that Shaco clone, oh man. The damage is gonna, yeah, the damage is gonna be lower. But like using it immediately means that you're gonna trigger the new boxes with like the AoE damage. Yeah, that's crazy. All right, interesting. Oh, those are some really comprehensive Shaco changes. I'm I feel like they put a lot of work and like a lot of thought into it. So those are gonna be good. I feel like you're gonna see both like Pink Ward and Chase say like they really like the buffs. Let me actually just check this real quickly. I'm on Twitter right now because I'm a degenerate. Yeah, Shaco rework is live. He's posting Joker dancing clips. Like he's excited. So I think they really like it. All right, Sona, QOL, so it's easier to know when our basic attacks coming up. Okay, Sona has to be a really easy champion for the mouth breathers that play here. No surprise there. Varus, number cleanups. That's literally all this is. Tiny buffs. Yeah. Oh boy, we got 2 base AD. It's over now, boys. It's over. All right, Victor. Now this is the one we're waiting for. Q no longer scales with mana. W augment now grants slow to other spells. R ticks faster and moves quicker. Oh, it ticks fast. I remember that now. Okay. So Victor's been dropped out for a while. His last stint in pro play was as a top laner. He was building tank items and klepto and just getting ahead of tanks because he had build acceleration. That's going to change now. They're removing his maximum mana scaling on his Q. So what happens here is 8% of his max mana. Keep in mind, I have not looked at this, so I haven't run the numbers yet. He'd get like 2,000, 2,500 mana. So 8% of that. 1% is like 25. 8, 200. So this is a marginally smaller shield. But when you're playing someone who's like really squishy, like an AP Victor, and you weren't building for mana, I think this will be like around the same size. It'll be a little bigger too because the champion would be like really squishy, so it would like this base number is going to feel a bit beefier. Magnetize. Direct hits slow enemies for 20% for 1 second. Okay, so this is really interesting. I liked the gravity field dragging him into the center because it really threw your enemy off, and if you got multiple people in the gravity field, it would equal huge AoE. That was, assuming they were bad and they had like 3 people all clumped up in the same area, so that wasn't really happening a lot. Direct hits slow enemies by 20% for 1 second. That's going to be interesting though. This feels like just shoving a Rylai's into his kit after they hit the gravity field. So it guarantees like your hits are gonna like really like lock them in place, but Against champions with a lot of move speed and against champions with mobility, it's really not going to mean a lot. And that's the champions that Victor suffers against. So Gravity Field looks nice. I don't really think it's going to do anything, especially because like the big issue, or you took away like a lot of his ability to punish people who were like really bad, but you also took away what I consider to be easy wave clear. You get like a bunch of minions like huddled around a tower, and you like put down the W. It would mean that they all got dragged to the center, so you get a very easy death ray onto all of them. I really think they should put some more damage into his E. That's my thing. I think that would be a lot better than the gravity field change. Chaos Storm. These are the changes I'm excited for. So what they did here is we'll continue chasing champions even after Victor dies. So if you have the Chaos Storm on a champion and Victor dies, it'll immediately stop in place. I felt like that was good because like you had the counterplay of either run away from Victor or just kill him. And now it's like even if you kill him, it's just still going to jump onto you. So I don't know if I like this. I think this, yeah, it just leaves you with a run away from Victor. Storm can now move over terrain. That's nice. You'd think that with a matchup like Jarvan, Victor would be like really good because AoE initiator, but your ultimate would get stuck in his Cataclysm. And so like it was just really awkward coordinating between the two. If you ulted and then he ulted, you would actually push them out of the like you'd push the enemy out of the Chaos Storm, and then like they wouldn't be taking any of that damage. So this is a really huge change. This is really good. I like this one. I don't like the continuing chasing champions. I really like moving over terrain. Tick cadence every 1 second now. That's really good. So that ticks, that doesn't mean anything. It literally just means like you're gonna see 3 amounts of damage. Now it's gonna go to 6 because it was over 7 seconds. So you get like the initial burst, tick 1, tick 2, tick 3. Now you got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's that simple. Damage per tick. This is literally just half the damage. A little more. The AP ratio kind of buffs it a little. So he gets a little more damage off this. It's a lot more quality of life changes though. Augment now makes it move faster. Maximum move speed is now 370. Wow. Okay, so the storm's going to be faster. It's going to move over terrain. It's going to continue chasing champions even after Victor dies. It's also going to be more reliable because you got 1 second increments now instead of 2. Yeah. Okay. So overall, it's something where like it makes his bad matchups easier, I guess, but it's not dramatically easier. It's not enough to really push him into the meta. I don't think this is going to change him, especially when like the Q siphon power, that was what really helped him against those bad matchups. You stack like in an AD matchup, you get like Gauntlet, you get another mana item, another tank item. Those were really good in those matchups. Now it's like you have to build squishy. So I don't know. Overall, this is gonna be really good until like when the meta moves towards Victor. I think this will be really good. Until then, I think it'll still be like a B tier pick. All right, Iron Solari. So Solari just hasn't been used a lot recently. It got a lot of nerfs, and then like people just shifted away from it. Looking to broaden the uses, especially in a meta where there are less AoE burst shape. Why would you do that? Like, I don't know. I think that certain items are useful because they work into certain comps. It's like saying let's take Morello and then or like Mortal Reminder. Mortal Reminder is good against tanky champions who have lots of healing. And saying, "Oh, let's make this more useful in general cases." No, that's what Lord Dominic's is for. Like you can't do that with Iron Solari. Like we don't care about. I think that's stupid. I absolutely think that they should make sure that it's for like niche uses. And like if those niche uses aren't in the meta right now, shift the meta back. Change will also apply to Circlet. So, oh, that's the Orn item. Okay. So this is gonna give you 90 more damage, 85 more protection, level 1. You usually get the item around, I want to say level 7, level 8 if you're rushing it, 11 or 12 if you're going for it as a second item as a support. So if you're at level 7, no, we'll say 11. So 11, that's 230 shield with the new thing, and then for the old one, it would be like what? 1150. I can do math. Give me a second. That's 195. So 40 more damage, level 11. 45. That's not as bad as I thought. It's if you use it as a first item, that's when it's really gonna shine. Okay. Yeah, I might see that as a new pick instead of Knight's Vow. We'll see. I just don't like that. I hate the idea. It's like unless an item is really really suffering, I would say like don't try to broaden it. If it's like just so niche, it's not useful. Like Zizzarat or the other thing that got removed, Banner of Command. Then I can say, all right, let's look at this and generalize it. But Locket has a really, really, really defined niche. There are a lot of champions you can use it against, and just because those champions aren't meta doesn't mean the item's bad. All right, rant over. Let's see these little changes. Adding friends via social, through social media. Good. That's creepy. I'm still not connecting my Facebook account anyways, but that's weird. All right, bug fixes. All right, well, I guess that's it. A couple of these are really interesting. Blitzcrank, I guess that makes sense. I didn't think he was that good. Garen's, I don't like Garen's. Good QOL changes, really, really bad just buffs or damage changes. All his scalings are just really fucked right now. Ivern looks big, not sure. Lissandra, uh, placebo. Like if you're in a bad elo, it's gonna be really good for you. If you're in a bad elo where people will eat the passive, that's gonna be huge for like getting resets. But yeah, it's not it. I don't think that's what they're looking for. Pantheon, pretty huge into melee matchups. I think he's being picked as a support though, so I don't think that's gonna be a lot. Kiana, this is actually huge. I think it'll take her right out of jungle, and I think it'll also like significantly nerf how much damage she does mid. She might actually drop out of the meta now. I'm hoping. Shaco, these changes look really, really good. Like these are really, really good under all circumstances. He's gonna be better as an AD champion. I think he's gonna be better as an AP champion, in my opinion. He's stronger early game, like noticeably stronger early game. He gets a lot more damage there. So a lot of the people, like I don't know how they did it, but they managed. I think they're gonna manage to please both the AP and the AD players. Like that's a feat in and of itself. So Shaco's a big success. Sona, easy champion for easy players. Varus doesn't matter. Like I really like that they're rounding out the numbers, but it doesn't matter. It's not going to change the champion. And then Victor. Yeah, these are really nice at his good matchups. They're good in his not so good matchups, but they're not as good. So I don't think we'll see him return unless like Kiana drops out of the meta. Her and like all the other flex pick champions. We got to see her and then Silas go first, and then we might see some Victor. And then lock it at Iron Solari. Strange buff, whatever. Alright, so I think that covers it though. Uh, we'll see. Meta's coming up. I'm really excited to play, and I'm going to try the new Victor changes soon. So I'm going to start streaming again on Friday. I'm probably just going to be grinding out a lot of Victor. We'll see. Definitely not a blind pick champion though, so not doing that. Alright, thank you, and I'll see you later.